Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 4 college basketball games for Monday, November 27th, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 Bank Shop best bet, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Monday in college hoops. First up, we see St. Peter's and Rutgers. This one's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time. St. Peter's one of the slowest teams in college basketball offensively. Probably has to do with the fact that the team's not very efficient offensively. They're 301 in adjusted offensive efficiency. Not a very good shooting team, but it plays really well into what Rutgers looks to do defensively. They're 352nd in average possession length defensively. I expect not a lot of possessions in this ball game. Probably a pretty low scoring game, and for that reason, I think there's value taking this many points with St. Peter's, a very strong defensive team. Like I said, their offense is not great, but the defense pretty solid. It's top 150 in the country right now in efficiency. They force a lot of turnovers. They're very responsible on the defensive glass, top 100 in defensive rebounding, and a really good 2-point defense. So I think we're going to see a low-scoring game, and one game, a game that Rutgers wins, but doesn't cover this giant number. Give me the points here with the St. Peter's Peacocks. Next up, we see Troy in Eastern Kentucky. This one's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern as well. It's going to be on ESPN+. I think Eastern Kentucky's been more unlucky than anything else this season, especially offensively. The offense is just shooting really poorly. They're 350th in effective field goal percentage, 307 in three-point percentage, and the worst team in college basketball Division I in free throw shooting percentage as a team. But they're still creating pretty good looks. They're a great offensive rebounding team, top 25 in the country in offensive rebounding, and they don't turn the ball over much. And I think going forward, we're going to see this EKU offense step it up. And I think this is honestly a really good buy low spot with Eastern Kentucky after their back-to-back upset losses to UT Martin and Prairie View A&M. Troy on the other side, the one thing this team does really well offensively is get to the free throw line, but EKU is one of the best teams in the country right now, at least, in limiting free throw attempts to their opposition. So Troy's one big advantage that they usually have on their opponents, not going to really be seen in a game like this, and Troy turns the ball over a ton. They're not a great shooting team to begin with. I think we see EKU, especially, that it's a true home game here. I like the Colonels in this one, laying the points. Next up, we see Utah and St. Mary's. This one, 11 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPNU. I think it's really key that St. Mary's is home in this game, as we've seen them struggle at the neutral site. We saw them, San Diego State and Xavier are absolute blowout wins over St. Mary's in those neutral site games, but St. Mary's bounced back in a big way in their last game at home against Davidson, 89-55, against a pretty solid program. That was a really strong win and bounce back win for the Gales, and they return home here against a solid, it's a step up in competition against Utah. But while I do like Brandon Carlson, I worry about the secondary scoring efforts for the Utes, and I also just don't love the fact that this program has not been great on the road in recent years. We only saw them win 4 true road games last season, and all 4 of those wins were against non-tournament teams. Washington State, Oregon State, Cal, and Stanford, some of the weakest teams in the Pac-12 last season. Now at St. Mary's, a really strong defensive system team. I just don't think Utah does enough offensively to keep up in this game. We're laying a pretty reasonable number with St. Mary's because on the surface, they don't look like they're having a great season, and maybe the team's not as good as it usually is. I don't think so. I think the Gales are just fine, especially at home here. I'm going to lay the points with St. Mary's. And the final game we're talking about for Monday's card in college basketball, only 4 games of the Bank Shop Breakdown because we have a pretty small card for Monday. It's going to be San Jose State and North Dakota State. It's going to be 11 p.m. Eastern as well. Similar to what we talked about in the St. Peter's Rutgers game, both teams are the most comfortable, I would say, in a slower paced, methodical style of basketball, especially San Jose State, where they're 331st in adjusted tempo and right around 300 in both offensive and defensive average possession length. So San Jose State's going to look to limit the amount of possessions in this ball game, and I think North Dakota State's fine with that. They're one of the slower offenses in college hoops as well. We saw North Dakota State play really competitive against Grand Canyon in the first half of that game in a really tough place to play, one of the toughest places to play in mid-major college basketball at GCU. They had to lead at halftime in that game by 5 points, and they just ran out of gas in the second half. But I don't really. That's not really a too shabby of a loss for North Dakota State. It's a very good, underrated program, and I do think that North Dakota State's going to be a lot more comfortable in a game like this, just matchup-wise. I think North Dakota State, we're going to see both these teams limit the amount of possessions. I think we see a lower scoring game, and for that reason, getting a good amount of points in a game like this, I think it's valuable with the underdog. So I'm going to take the points here with North Dakota State, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see them win the game outright and an outright upset. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday in college hoops. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.